My name is Emily Carter. I am 31 years old. And 5 months ago, a delivery truck ran a red light and shattered my right femur into 7 pieces. I woke up in the ICU with morphine in my veins and fog inside my head. I could not sit up. I could not think straight. I could barely hold a pen without shaking. My father was there, standing beside my hospital bed with papers in his hands, power of attorney forms, settlement documents, access to the $230,000 I had received from the trucking company whose driver destroyed my life. He told me he would handle everything. He said he would protect the money, pay my bills, and keep my future safe while I learned how to walk again. So I signed, because I was trapped in a hospital bed, and because he was my father. For 5 months, I believed him. I let rehabilitation swallow my life. I let pain make the rules. I did not look too closely because I did not want to believe I had to. Then one morning, before the sun came up, my phone rang. It was Dr. Mitchell at 618 a.m. And let me tell you something about doctors calling before 7 in the morning. It is never good news. Never. I was already awake anyway. Pain has a way of making sleep optional. My right leg throbbed deep in the bone. The kind of pain pills no longer truly reach. 5 months since the accident. 5 months of physical therapy. Learning how to walk again. Watching my savings disappear while I could not work. I answered on the second ring. Emily. It's Dr. Mitchell. His voice had that careful tone doctors use when they are about to ruin your day. I received the latest scan results. We need to talk about your femur. My hand tightened around the phone. How bad is it, a vascular necrosis? He said. The bone tissue is dying. Without proper blood flow, we are looking at possible collapse of the femoral head. He paused, and I could hear him choosing his words. We need to schedule surgery within 72 hours if possible. And realistically, we have a very small window, 10 to 14 days before the damage could become permanent. 72 hours to get on the surgical schedule. Less than 2 weeks before my future could collapse with my hip. How much, I asked, even though I already knew the answer would destroy me. $125,000. Insurance has denied coverage. They are classifying it as a disputed accident-related complication that should be handled through your settlement. I closed my eyes. My settlement. $230,000 from the trucking company whose driver ran the red light and tore my life apart. The money my father had been managing because I had been too drugged, too broken, and too dependent to manage it myself. Okay, I said. I'll need to access my settlement account. Emily. Dr. Mitchell said, and his voice softened. I need to be very clear. If we do not act quickly, you could need a hip replacement before 35. Or worse. Worse? He meant permanent disability. He meant complications. He did not say amputation. But my brain heard it anyway. I hung up and opened my banking app with trembling hands. The account my father had set up under his authority as my temporary financial agent. The account that was supposed to protect my future while I recovered. Balance, $35,000. I stared at the number. I blinked. I refreshed the app. $35,000 left out of $230,000 in 2 months. My chest went cold. No. This had to be a mistake. A glitch. Something. I called my father once. Twice. 3 times before he picked up. Emily. Sweetheart. It's early. Where is my money? My voice was flat. Calm. The kind of calm that happens when your brain cannot process the catastrophe in front of it. Silence. Then, in the background, I heard her. Diana. My stepmother. Her voice was muffled but urgent. Your money is fine. My father said, but his voice had that quality. That guilty, caught quality I had heard 1,000 times growing up whenever he missed a performance, forgot a promise, or skipped a graduation because something more important came up. Dad, there is $35,000 in the account. There should be $230,000. Where is it? Another silence. Longer this time. We invested it. He finally said, into Tyler's company. Game Launch Studios. A mobile gaming startup. Very promising. Emily. The return could be, you invested my medical settlement into Tyler's startup, Tyler. Diana's 23-year-old son from her first marriage. My stepbrother, who had dropped out of 3 programs and whose biggest accomplishment so far was having 50,000 Instagram followers. It was a family investment. Diana's voice cut in. She had taken the phone. Emily, you need to understand. Tyler has been here for you these past few months. He is part of this family. He has supported you. You should know how to share. Share. I looked down at my leg. At the scars running from hip to knee. At the metal holding my bone together. At the crutches leaning against the bed. How much, I asked. How much what? How much of my medical settlement did you give him? My father's voice came back. Barely above a whisper. $195,000. But Emily, you have to understand, I hung up. My hand was shaking now. Not from fear, but from something colder. Something like understanding, soaking into my bones. I opened the transaction history. February 14. Valentine's Day. While I was in the ICU recovering from my first surgery, barely conscious, my father had transferred $195,000 to Game Launch Studios LLC. Not after I asked. Not recently. 6 weeks earlier. Before I even knew I would need this next surgery. I had 10 to 14 days to find $125,000 or risk losing the future of my leg. And my father, the man who promised to protect me, the man I trusted with every dollar of my recovery, had made his choice. He chose his wife's son over his own daughter. I sat there in the dark before dawn, phone still in my hand, and felt something inside me change. They thought I was weak because I could not walk. They were about to learn the difference between standing on your feet and standing up for yourself. If you have ever felt betrayed by family when you needed them most, stay with me. Because this story is not over. It is only beginning. Let me take you back to November 18. 4:32 p.m. At the intersection of Indian School Road and 32nd Street in Phoenix. That was the moment my life split into 2 versions, before and after. Before. I was Emily Carter, a physical therapist at Desert Wellness Clinic. I spent my days helping people recover from accidents, teaching them how to walk, how to trust their bodies again. I was good at my job, and I loved it. Ironic. Right, I remember my last patient that day. A 4-year-old girl named Lily, who was recovering from a broken leg. She had been terrified she would never run again. You will run. I promised her. I will make sure of it. 2 hours later, a delivery truck blew through a red light at 55 miles per hour. My Honda Civic did not stand a chance. Firefighters had to cut me out with hydraulic tools. 40 minutes of grinding metal and me screaming until my voice broke. Compound fracture of the right femur. Spinal trauma. Internal bleeding. The paramedics kept asking, "Can you feel your leg, ma'am? Can you feel your leg?" I could not. I woke up 3 days later in the ICU. Morphine drip. Machines beeping. And my father sitting beside my bed, looking like he had aged 10 years. "My girl," he said, his voice cracking. Thank God. He was holding papers. I was too dazed to understand what they were. "The settlement is coming," he explained. "From the trucking company. Their attorneys have already called. But sweetheart, you cannot handle this right now. Look at you. You can barely keep your eyes open." I was on morphine through an IV and oxycodone every few hours. The nurse's notes would later show that I had asked the same question 6 times in 1 hour. I could not remember my own address. "I need you to sign temporary power of attorney," my father said. "Only until you are better. I will manage the settlement. Keep it safe. Make sure it is there for your recovery." The pen felt heavy in my hand. "Dad," I slurred. "You'll protect it. For my medical bills, I will protect it with my life." "Emily, blood does not betray blood. I am your father." So I signed my name. December came. I moved into my father's house because I could not climb the stairs to my apartment. Because I could not shower without help. Because I could not cook, drive, or safely be alone. Diana turned the downstairs den into a bedroom for me, with a big window overlooking their backyard pool. "We will care for you like you are our own daughter," Diana said, smoothing the blanket over my legs. She emphasized the word like, "Not because you are, but like, still." I was grateful. Or I thought I was supposed to be grateful. That is what good daughters do. Right. They show appreciation. I did not know I was rolling into a trap. No. Wrong word. I could not roll myself. I was pushed into one. Diana loved the word family. She used it like a weapon. Family means sacrifice. "Emily." She said it at dinner 3 weeks after I moved in. I had asked why Tyler was sitting at the head of the table. The seat that had always been mine growing up. The seat my father used to save for me. "Tyler lives here full-time," Diana explained. "As if that settled it. You are just staying until you recover." Just staying in my father's house. The house where I had grown up. I sat at the far end of the table. The guest seat. Family means showing up. Diana continued. "Serving Tyler an extra helping of chicken. Tyler has been here every day helping care for you." I wanted to laugh. Tyler had come into my room exactly 3 times. Once on Thanksgiving because my father insisted on taking a photo for Facebook. Once to borrow my laptop because his was acting up. And once to grab a package that had been delivered to the wrong room. Total time, maybe 1 hour and 5 months. But pointing that out would make me ungrateful. Difficult. Not a team player. So I said nothing. "You know," Diana said casually, cutting her chicken with surgical precision. "Family is giving without expecting anything back. That is what real love looks like." I noticed my father was not looking at me. He was focused on his plate like it contained the secrets of the universe. The manipulation was so smooth, I almost missed it. Almost. When April came and I needed surgery money, Diana's reaction was as cold as a scalpel. "After everything we have done for you," she did not shout. Shouting would have been easier to fight. Instead, she sounded wounded. Disappointed. "Emily." We opened our home. We adjusted our lives. We cared for you, 24/7. Tyler sacrificed his social life to be here for you. And now you want to do what? Take away his one chance at success. "It is my medical settlement," I said. "For my medical expenses, it is family money." She corrected. "And family takes care of each other. Then why was I not consulted before Dad transferred $195,000? You were consulted?" My father said quietly. He still would not look at me. "Do you not remember? We talked about investments. Making the money work for the family." I did not remember that conversation. I would have remembered that when I demanded. "February. You were struggling then. The pain medication." I was in the ICU in February. Dad. I was half unconscious. Diana's smile did not move. See, this is exactly what I mean. The medication is affecting your memory. Emily, you are not thinking clearly. You are becoming paranoid. There it was. Gaslighting. Chapter 1. Make them question their own reality. I need $125,000 for surgery, I said, forcing my voice to stay calm. Doctor, Mitchell says I have less than 2 weeks before I could lose the chance to save my hip. Tyler's company is in a critical growth stage. Diana said, he cannot pull capital right now. It would collapse the entire operation. Surely you understand that business requires I could lose my leg. You are exaggerating. She said it softly, lovingly. The way you speak to a confused child. Doctor, Mitchell is being conservative. You are young. You are resilient. You will be fine. Tyler has a very narrow opportunity. This is his moment. I looked at my father. Is that what you think? He opened his mouth, closed it, looked at Diana, then finally said, Emily, you are a smart woman. You understand that sometimes the right thing feels difficult. This is an investment in the future of our family. Tyler's success lifts all of us, including you. I just need my medical money back. It is tied up in the company. My father said, we cannot just, you transferred it in 1 day. You can transfer it back. Silence. Diana pulled out her phone and started scrolling through photos, then held the screen toward me. Tyler pushing my wheelchair. Tyler helping me into the car. Tyler handing me a glass of water. 15 photos. 20. All carefully staged moments of care. This is what family looks like. Emily. Tyler has been here every day. He has earned his place in this family. I stared at the Thanksgiving photo, the one my father had directed like a film scene. Tyler. Stand behind her. Put your hand on the wheelchair. Smile. No. Bigger. Make it look natural. 20 angles of the same 30-second interaction. Family is who shows up, Diana said, repeating her favorite line. And sweetheart, Tyler showed up. Now it is your turn to show up for him. I left the table, limped back to the downstairs bedroom, opened the Notes app on my phone, and listed every time Tyler had supposedly shown up. November 25. Thanksgiving 30 minutes. Forced photos. December 10-15 minutes. Borrowed laptop. January 3:20 minutes. Wrong package. Total 3 visits. 1 hour and 5 minutes. The hospital visitor log I had requested the previous week told a different story. Megan Collins. My best friend, 12 visits. Co-workers from the clinic, 18 visits. College friends, 10 visits. Aunt Linda. My father's sister, 5 visits. Tyler Foster, 0 visits. Robert Carter. My father, 2 visits. Diana Foster, 0 visits. Family is who shows up. Diana was right about that. She just did not realize she was proving my point. This was not new. I had been the backup plan for 5 years. I just did not want to see it. Let me show you the pattern. June 2016. My college graduation. Summa cum laude. 4 years of straight A's. Accepted into a competitive physical therapy program, it should have been my day. My father arrived 45 minutes after the ceremony ended. I had already returned my cap and gown. The stadium was half empty. Sorry, kiddo, he said, not quite meeting my eyes. Tyler needed a computer for summer classes. The store was across town. You understand. I understood. My father bought Tyler a $2,800 MacBook Pro that day for summer classes. Tyler would drop after 6 weeks. I walked across the stage alone. September 2017. I asked my father to loan me $5,000 for a security deposit and first month's rent on an apartment near the clinic. I had just gotten my first real job and needed to be close for early mornings and late nights. I do not have it. Emily, he said. Money is tight. 2 weeks later, Diana posted a brand new Jeep Wrangler in the driveway. Tyler leaning against it, throwing a peace sign. Caption: Proud Mom Moment. Tyler needed reliable transportation for his new job. Blessed. My son, the Jeep cost $28,000. I slept on Megan's couch for 3 months until I saved enough. When I asked my father about it, he said, Tyler needed the car to work. Emily, you can take the bus. You are young. You are resilient. Resilient. I heard that word a lot. April 2013. I got engaged to Jason. We planned a small engagement party. Nothing fancy. Just family and close friends. My father offered to host. My daughter is getting married. He said, hugging me, let me do this for you. 1 week before the event, Diana called. Sweetheart, we have to cancel. Tyler's graduate school tuition is due, and your father needs to help him. We cannot afford the party right now. You understand. The venue deposit was non-refundable. $1,200. I had to eat the cost. Tyler dropped out of graduate school 1 semester later. After my father had already paid the tuition, Jason and I broke up 6 months after that. Maybe it had nothing to do with my family. Or maybe it had everything to do with them. Maybe I had already learned I came second. Maybe I had practiced disappointment for years. 3 times. 3 times I made excuses. Blended families take time. I told myself, Dad loves me. He just shows it differently. I am being selfish. I am ungrateful. I need to understand more. I gave him 5 years of being the easy daughter. The one who did not complain. The one who understood. And when I needed him most. When I lay in a hospital bed with metal in my bone and terror in my heart. He took 5 months of my recovery and sold them for his wife's approval. $195,000. That was the price of my future. No. Wrong. That was the price of Tyler's present. I was just the one who paid it. On April 3. A 10:15 a.m. An unknown number called. I almost did not answer because I had been getting spam calls all week. But something made me pick up. Ms. Carter, this is Margaret Stone. I am your father's financial advisor. I sat up too fast and immediately regretted the pain that shot through my hip. Margaret. Hi. Is everything okay? That is what I need to speak with you about. Can you meet me in person today? The urgency in her voice tightened my stomach. What is going on? Not over the phone. Please. There is a coffee shop at Camelback and 24th. Bright Beans. Can you be there at noon? I could barely walk. But I agreed. Margaret was waiting when I arrived. Late 60s. Steel gray hair. Sharp eyes behind wire-framed glasses. She had managed my father's finances for 12 years. I had met her at Christmas parties and summer barbecues. She had sent a card when I graduated college. She stood when she saw me struggling with my crutches. Let me help. I can do it. Visat. She had already ordered coffee for me. She remembered how I took it 1 cream. No sugar. That tiny kindness almost broke me. Emily, she said, folding her hands on the table. I am breaking about 6 professional rules by being here. But I could not sleep knowing what I know and not telling you. She opened her laptop and showed me an email account connected to my father's business records. I have administrative access to Robert's financial correspondence for work purposes. 2 weeks ago, I saw something that concerned me. She turned the screen toward me. From Diana Foster to Robert Carter. February 10. Enist sedemintiridesit p. M. Subject Tyler's opportunity. Robert. We need to move quickly on the game funding. Tyler's partners are getting impatient. If we do not commit $200,000 by Friday, they will look for another investor. I know you are worried Emily will find out. But darling, think logically. Emily will be fine. She is young. She is resilient. She will figure it out. She always does. Tyler needs this now. This is his moment. His real chance. If you do not sign the transfer, I need you to understand something. I cannot stay in a marriage where my son comes behind someone else's daughter. I need to know you. Choose us. You choose our family. You need to decide what matters more. I read it 3 times. Someone else's daughter. Keep reading. Margaret said gently. I scrolled down and found my father's response. From Robert Carter to Diana Foster. February 11. Nam, 22 M. Subject R.E. Tyler's opportunity. Diana. You know I love Emily. She is my daughter. But you are right. Tyler is here. He is part of our daily life. Emily has her own life. Her own path. I will sign the paperwork today. Please do not leave me. Robert. The coffee shop tilted around me. There is more. Margaret said. She opened a bank statement. One transaction highlighted in red. February 14. 2024. Transfer to Game Launch Studios LLC $195,000. Authorized by Robert Carter. Power of attorney for Emily Carter. Status completed. Valentine's Day. I whispered. I had been in the ICU. Recovering from surgery. Barely conscious. I know. Margaret said. Her voice catching. I called Robert that afternoon and asked if he was sure about the transfer. It was my job to advise him as Emily's representative, end quote. I told him, Robert, this is your daughter's medical settlement. Not a family investment account. It is for her recovery. What did he say? He said. And I quote, Margaret, you do not understand. If I do not do this, I will lose my wife. She closed the laptop. I have worked in finance for 30 years. I have never seen a man more afraid of his wife than of his own conscience. She slid a thick brown folder across the table. Bank records. Email chains. Transfer receipts. Everything. I am giving you this because I believe you will need it. I opened it and saw months of messages. My father asking Diana for permission to spend money. Diana making demands. Tyler sending wish lists. Margaret pulled out a napkin and wrote a name and number. Jessica Hart. Attorney. Specializes in family law and fiduciary abuse. She is the best I know. Tell her I sent you. I cannot afford. She takes 2 pro bono cases a year. Tell her your story. Trust me. I looked at this woman who had risked her career to hand me ammunition. Why, I asked. Why are you doing this? Margaret's eyes went distant and sad. Because 20 years ago, my sister trusted her husband to manage an inheritance from our parents. He gave all of it to his brother's failing company. By the time she found out, the money was gone. She died in medical debt because her husband chose his brother over his wife. Margaret stood and picked up her purse. I could not save my sister. Maybe I can help you save yourself. Then she left. I sat there for 20 minutes, staring at the folder, at the evidence, at the paper trail of betrayal. They had planned this. It was not a mistake. It was not an emotional decision. It was a calculated choice made while I was unconscious, helpless, and trusting my father. They sold my future and called it family. I pulled out my phone and dialed the number Margaret had written. Heart Law Office. How may I help you? My name is Emily Carter, I said. Margaret Stone told me to call. I need to sue my father. Doctor. Mitchell did not sugarcoat anything. He placed my x-rays on the light box. And even I could see the problem. Dark patches spreading through the femoral head like ink in water. Avascular necrosis. He said. The bone is dying. Emily, if we do not intervene quickly, you could face total collapse of the hip joint. How long? 10 days. Maybe 2 weeks. After that, he pointed to the darkest area. This becomes much harder to reverse. Hip replacement before 35. Possible permanent disability if infection or collapse progresses. The word disability hung in the air like a blade. And the surgery, he handed me the estimate. Detailed. Item is it. Brutal. Surgery, $85,000. Anesthesia, $12,000. Hospital stay, $18,000. Post-op physical therapy, $10,000. Total $125,000. Insurance coverage 0. Reason disputed. Accident-related complication tied to the original settlement. Can I do a payment plan? I asked. Already knowing the answer. The hospital requires 20% down before scheduling. $25,000 immediately. The rest can be financed. But Emily, this is exactly what your settlement was meant for. I did not tell him the money was gone. I could not make the words come out. Instead, I went back to my father's house because I still could not live alone and locked myself in the converted downstairs bedroom. I stared at my phone for an hour before calling Tyler. He declined the call. So I texted him, Tyler, I need to talk about the investment. I need surgery. Can we discuss returning part of the funds? 3 hours later. He replied, Emily, I am in a critical stage with game launch. I cannot pull capital right now. Investors would panic. I called again. Blocked. My stepbrother had blocked me. I checked his Instagram. Posted 2 hours earlier, a shiny new Tesla Model 3. His hand on the hood. Peace sign in the air. Caption new, wheels for new beginnings. Startup life. Dream big. I zoomed into the background. Tesla dealership in Phoenix. I opened the business account access my father had stupidly given me when he tried to make the investment look transparent. March 3, $50,000 withdrawal. Description, owner distribution. T. Foster. Same day he bought a $52,000 car. Same day, he told me he could not pull capital. He bought a Tesla with my blood money, with the settlement that was supposed to save my leg. I set a countdown on my phone. 10 days. 240 hours. 14,400 minutes. Every hour would remind me that my future was draining away while Tyler drove around Phoenix in a car purchased with my recovery. I was not angry anymore. I was cold. Calculating. I had 10 days to take back my life. And I knew exactly where to start. Megan showed up at 7 that night with Thai food and her laptop. Megan Collins. My best friend from college. The woman who had visited me 12 times in the hospital. The woman who held my hand through physical therapy sessions where I cried from pain and hopelessness. Blood did not make Megan family. Showing up did. Margaret called me. Megan said. Unpacking. Pad thai and spring rolls. Give me the short version. I handed her the folder. She read in silence for 10 minutes. Her jaw tightening with every page. Your father. Robert Carter. I said, the man who coached your soccer team, the man who taught me to ride a bike, the man who cried at your high school graduation. She looked up. That Robert Carter did this. People change when they are afraid. I said, he was more afraid of losing Diana than losing me. Megan's hands curled into fists. Then screw him. We get you a lawyer. We get your money back. And we make sure they never do this to anyone else. She opened her laptop and made the call. Jessica Megan Collins. Margaret Stone gave your number to my friend. Can you do a video call right now? It is urgent. 2 minutes later, Jessica Hart appeared on screen. Sharp eyes. Professional blazer. The expression of a woman who had seen everything and was no longer surprised by cruelty. Megan explained the situation in 5 minutes. Jessica listened without interrupting. When Megan finished, Jessica stayed silent for exactly 10 seconds. Then she said, I am taking this case. I cannot pay. I take 2 pro bono cases a year. Jessica cut in. The ones that matter. This is my second one for 2024. She leaned closer to the camera. Emily. My mother died in medical debt because my uncle convinced her to invest her cancer treatment fund into his business. I was too young to stop it. Too young to understand. I could not save my mother. But I can help you save yourself. What do we do? First, preserve every dollar you have left. Use it only for immediate medical needs. Second, I file a civil complaint tomorrow morning for breach of fiduciary duty, undue influence, and financial exploitation of a vulnerable adult. Third, we go to court. Public court. Every email. Every transfer. Every lie out in the open. My father, your father violated a legal duty to you. He can cry in front of the judge. Megan squeezed my hand. Chosen family. M. We are your real family now. Jessica nodded. And family fights for each other. Tuesday morning. I want to file at 9. Tuesday. April 8. 9 Himbablas A. M. Maricopa County Superior Court. Jessica filed the complaint. Case number CV 2024-003891. Emily Carter. Plaintiff. Robert Carter. Diana Foster. Tyler Foster. Défendant. The clerk looked at me over her glasses. Mom, are you sure family lawsuits are hard? They stopped being family when they stole my future. I said. She stamped the documents. Good luck. Young lady. I hope you get everything back. The text from my father came the next morning at 9. Family meeting. Chest P. M. Tonight. We need to discuss your future. Please be home. Not a question. An order? Diana was copied. Tyler replied with a thumbs-up emoji. I answered, my future is my decision. 6 P. M. Do not make this harder than it needs to be. I arrived at 5:58 p. M. The living room had been arranged like an intervention, 6 people sitting in a circle. My father, Diana, Tyler, Aunt Linda, my father's sister, looking deeply uncomfortable, Carol, one of Diana's friends, whom I had never met, and a man I did not know, with a badge clipped to his belt. Dr. Philip Norton, clinical psychologist. The air left my lungs. Emily, please sit, Diana said, pointing to the empty chair in the center. The hot seat? What is this? An intervention. Doctor, Norton said in a smooth, therapeutic voice. Your family is concerned about you. I looked at my father. You brought a psychologist here to ambush me. We are worried. Sweetheart, my father said, without looking at me, you have not seemed stable since the accident. We think the pain medication may be affecting your judgment. My judgment. You have been calling about money obsessively. Diana said, counting on her fingers. 5 times in 2 days. You are not eating properly. You have lost 12 pounds. You are hostile toward Tyler. I asked about the money you stole from me. See, Diana looked at Dr. Norton. This is what we mean. The aggression. The paranoia. Dr. Norton opened his notebook. Ms. Sapling. Carter. Your family has shared several concerning behaviors: obsessive focus on finances, mood changes, difficulty accepting help. These can be signs of medication, interaction, or trauma response. I am not crazy. No one said crazy, he said smoothly. But we believe you may not be in a position to make sound decisions right now. Your family cares about you. They want to help. Diana pulled papers from her purse and slid them across the coffee table. Voluntary psychiatric evaluation. 72-hour observation. Just to make sure you are safe. Emily, she said gently. My father's signature was already on the family consent line. All they needed was mine. You want to lock me up? We want to help you, Diana said in that soft, kind voice. The voice of a concerned mother. Once you are stable, we can talk about money, about family, about what is truly best for everyone. Translation: once you are locked away, medicated, and discredited, we can keep the money and you cannot fight back. Tyler stared at the floor. Aunt Linda stared at her hands. Diana's friend nodded as if this all made sense. Dr. Norton said, sometimes the people who love us see what we cannot see ourselves. Emily, your family is showing up for you. Now, you need to show up for your own recovery. I looked at my father. Really looked at him. He was crying. Real tears. But he was not speaking. He was not defending me. He was sitting there while his wife staged my destruction. No, I said. Emily. I stood, gripping my crutches. I am not signing anything. I am not unstable. I am not paranoid. I am a woman who trusted her father. And he betrayed me. I looked directly at him now. You signed away my medical money while I was unconscious. You chose your wife over your daughter. And now you are trying to gaslight me into thinking I am crazy because I am angry. I picked up the papers and tore them in half. This meeting is over. Then I walked out. I made it to my car before my hands started shaking. I called Jessica from the driveway. They just tried to make me sign into psychiatric evaluation. I said, my voice cracking. They are escalating. Good. Jessica said, her voice pure steel. Let them escalate. Every step they take digs the hole deeper. Emily, you just walked out with your power. You did not sign. You did not collapse. You held the boundary. I am scared. You should be scared. They are dangerous. But you are not alone. Tomorrow morning, we file an emergency temporary order to freeze every asset, every penny they touched. Then we go to public court, where they cannot gaslight a judge and where evidence matters more than manipulation. I rested my forehead against the steering wheel. Megan is coming to get you. Jessica continued. You stay with her until the hearing. Do not go back into that house. Do not answer calls. Document everything. Okay, Emily. What you did tonight took courage. I do not feel strong. You do not have to feel strong. You just have to keep standing. Even on crutches. Jessica's office was controlled chaos, papers everywhere. Whiteboards covered in timelines. Sticky notes. Medical records. Bank records. Her assistant Alice organized documents like a surgeon laying out instruments. Alice. This is Emily. Jessica said. Alice is going to help us dismantle your father's defense. Alice looked up and gave me a grim smile. I reviewed the bank records Margaret gave us. Emily, your family did not just steal from you. They did it sloppily. She opened a spreadsheet. February 14. Transfer of $195,000 to Game Launch Studios. Same day processing. No advisory review. No waiting period. Diana Foster was physically present at the bank during the authorization. Margaret confirmed it. Alice clicked to the next tab. March 3. Tyler withdraws $50,000 from Game Launch as an owner distribution. Same day. He buys a Tesla Model 3 for $52,000. March 28. $15,000 transfers from Game Launch to Diana's personal account. Description: consulting fee. My stomach turned. They were splitting my money. Like pirates dividing treasure. Alice said flatly. And they left tracks. Jessica pulled out my medical file. December 2. The day you signed power of attorney. Hospital. Notes. Patient on continuous morphine IV and oxycodone every 4 hours. Disoriented. Repeats questions. Impaired memory. Recommendation: do not sign legal documents without independent representation. My breath caught. A nurse recommended I not sign. Yes. Jessica said, your father had you sign anyway. That is undue influence while medically impaired. Any authority obtained under that condition is vulnerable to challenge. Then she placed the medical records beside the bank statements. And here is the killer. She opened an email from Tyler Foster to Diana Foster. February 9. 8, 14 M. Subject: RE. Investment. Mom. Are you sure? Using Emily's money feels wrong. She will need it. Diana's response came 3 hours later. Tyler. Darling. Do not overthink this. Emily is Robert's daughter. Not yours. You are my priority. Our priority. She will figure it out. She always does. But this is your chance. Your moment. Robert will do what I tell him. Trust me. I read it 3 times. Not yours. She wrote it down. Jessica said. She admitted she never considered you family. On that she manipulated your father. And that this was planned. Alice underlined the sentence, Robert will do what I tell him. That is an admission of undue influence over the person holding the power of attorney. Jessica began pacing, which I quickly learned was how she built her arguments. We have medical records showing diminished capacity when you signed the POA. Bank records showing unauthorized transfers. Emails proving planning and manipulation. Margaret Stone. A financial advisor with 12 years of professional relationship. As a witness. Dr. Mitchell to testify to urgency. Hospital nurses. A social worker. A forensic accountant. She turned to me. Emily. When we walk into court, we are not just asking for money. We are proving your father financially exploited you while you were vulnerable. Diana orchestrated the fraud. And Tyler knowingly benefited from stolen medical funds. What happens to them? Robert loses power of attorney permanently. Owes full restitution plus interest. And may face referral for investigation. Diana can be held liable for fraud and undue influence. Tyler's assets can be frozen until repayment. And you get your money back. Plus, legal fees and damages for delayed medical care. Jessica sat across from me. But more importantly, you get your voice back. They tried to silence you by calling you unstable. We are going to make them hear you in front of everyone. Alice handed over a witness list. Margaret Stone. Megan Collins. Dr. Mitchell. 3 nurses from the hospital. The social worker who noted family pressure. And a forensic accountant who would show the judge where every dollar went. What do they have? I asked. Lies. Jessica said simply, they have lies. Manipulation. And the hope that you are too broken to fight. She opened another folder and pulled out a photograph of me in the ICU. Tubes everywhere. Unconscious. This is who they exploited. Jessica said. And when the judge sees this photograph beside Diana's email saying Robert will do what I tell him, she smiled. Cold and professional. They are finished. April 15. I did not sleep the night before. Not because I was nervous, but because I was ready. I had prepared for that moment for 6 weeks emotionally. Even if the legal case had moved quickly, every document memorized. Every date rehearsed. Megan picked me up at 7. "Ready to watch karma happen in real time?" she asked. "I am ready to tell the truth." Jessica met us at court in a navy suit. Briefcase in hand. Battle face on. "Remember," she said, "we do not need the judge to lie. We need the evidence to speak. Stay calm. Stay factual. Do not engage with emotional manipulation." Courtroom B7 was packed. Megan, Aunt Linda, who had switched sides after the intervention, co-workers from the clinic, Margaret Stone, college friends, and a reporter from the Phoenix Tribune whom Jessica had tipped off. This would be public. On the other side sat my father, Deanna, Tyler, their attorney, Mr. Wallace, 3 of Diana's friends, and her sister. My father would not look at me. Diana stared straight ahead, jaw tight. Tyler kept checking his phone until the clerk told him to put it away. All rise. The Honorable Judge Patricia Spencer presiding. Judge Spencer entered. Mid-50s. Sharp eyes. 28 years on the bench. Jessica had wanted this courtroom because Judge Spencer was known for 3 things: efficiency, intolerance for nonsense, and a particular hatred for financial exploitation of vulnerable people. "Be seated." The judge opened a thick file. She had read everything. "This matter concerns breach of fiduciary duty, undue influence, and financial exploitation. Counsel, I have reviewed the briefs. Ms. Hart, you may proceed." Jessica stood without looking at her notes, stepped into the center of the courtroom, and turned toward my father. 5 seconds of silence. Then she said, "Your Honor, this case asks one question: when does a father stop acting like a father? I submit that the answer is this: the moment he signs away his daughter's future to keep his wife from leaving him." Wallace jumped up. "Objection." "Your Honor." Inflammatory. Overruled. Continue. Ms. Hart. Jessica clicked the remote. A bank statement appeared on the screen. Numbers large enough for everyone to see. Balance December 15. 2023, $230,000. Balance February 14. 2024, $35,000. Emily Carter received a $230,000 settlement after a catastrophic car crash. She entrusted her father, Robert Carter, sitting right there, to manage those funds while she recovered. This was medical money for surgery, rehabilitation, housing, survival. Another click. February 14, transfer $195,000 to Game Launch Studios LLC, authorized by Robert Carter using Emily Carter's power of attorney. On Valentine's Day, while Emily Carter was recovering from surgery, heavily medicated and medically impaired, Robert Carter transferred $195,000 into his stepson's gaming startup without Emily's informed consent. Murmurs spread through the courtroom. Judge Spencer did not change expression, but she leaned forward. Ms. Carter did not know. Ms. Carter did not approve, and the records show she was in no condition to authorize such a decision. Wallace stood. Your Honor. Mr. Carter had authority. Sit down. Mr. Wallace, you will have your turn. Judge Spencer looked back at Jessica. Continue. Jessica projected the medical records. Medication log from December 2, continuous morphine. Oxycodone, every 4 hours. Nurse's note, patient disoriented. Repetitive questioning. Impaired memory. Recommendation, no legal documents without independent representation. This was Emily when the power of attorney was signed. Medicated. Confused. Unable to make informed financial decisions. And her father, the one person who should have protected her, used that vulnerability to obtain control. Click. Tyler's Instagram post with the Tesla. March 3. Timeline underneath 3 weeks after receiving the money. Tyler Foster withdrew $50,000 from the startup and purchased a luxury vehicle while telling Emily the funds could not be returned. Aunt Linda gasped. Robert. No. Judge Spencer struck the gavel. Family members will remain silent or leave. Jessica opened Diana's email from February 9. The room went still as she read aloud. Emily is Robert's daughter. Nutors. You are my priority. Our priority. Robert will do what I tell him. She let the words hang there. Nutors. Despite years of claiming family unity, despite staging an intervention to make Emily appear mentally unstable after she asked for her money back, the defendant's own words reveal the truth. Wallace shot up. Objection. That intervention is not in evidence. It is now, Jessica said, and presented the voluntary psychiatric evaluation forms, already signed by Robert, on the family consent line. Prepared for an ambush with a hired psychologist? Purpose: discredit Emily and make her seem unstable so her legal claim would be dismissed. Judge Spencer took the forms and reviewed them. Her jaw tightened. Mr. Wallace, did your clients attempt to send Ms. Carter into psychiatric observation after she demanded return of her medical settlement, Your Honor? They believed I asked yes or no. Wallace sat down slowly. Jessica turned. Your Honor, I call Margaret Stone. Margaret was sworn in. Calm. Professional. Immovable. Ms. Stone. What was your relationship to Robert Carter? Jessica asked. I was his financial advisor for 12 years. What happened on February 14, Robert came to my office requesting a transfer of $195,000 from Emily's settlement account to Game Launch Studios. Did you advise him regarding that decision? Yes. I told him it was unwise and improper. That money was Emily's medical settlement, not a family investment vehicle. I told him directly, Robert, this is your daughter's future. Do not do this. And what did he say? Margaret's voice trembled slightly. He said, Margaret, you do not understand. If I do not do this, Diana will leave me. I cannot lose her. The courtroom murmured again. Was Diana Foster present? Yes. She sat beside Robert throughout the meeting. Every time I tried to explain the consequences, she interrupted. She said, and I quote, Emily will be fine. She is young. Tyler needs this right now. Did she say Tyler needed it or wanted it? Needed it. She said it was his one chance. Jessica turned to the judge. Your Honor, we offer transaction records showing that Tyler Foster withdrew $50,000 from Game Launch Studios on March 3, the same day he told Emily the investment could not be pulled, and used that money to purchase a Tesla. Admitted. The receipt appeared on the screen beside Tyler's message. Cannot pull capital right now. Investors would panic. Same day, same money. Jessica did not need to explain. The evidence spoke for itself. Ms. Stone. Jessica continued. In 12 years of working with Robert Carter, did you observe anyone exerting unusual influence over him? Wallace objected. Judge Spencer allowed the answer. Margaret said, yes. His wife. I watched Robert Carter go from a confident decision-maker to a man who could not approve basic financial steps without checking with Diana first. Phone calls during meetings. Text for permission. He was afraid of upsetting her. Jessica returned to the table and lifted the hospital visitor log. Ms. Stone. Please read the visitor records for Emily Carter from November 18 to March 1. Margaret read Megan Collins. 12 visits. Desert Wellness coworkers. 18 visits. College friends. 10 visits. Linda Hayes. 5 visits. She paused. Robert Carter. 2 visits. Tyler Foster. 0 visits. Diana Foster. 0 visits. The courtroom erupted. The gavel fell. Order. Jessica's voice cut through the noise. Your Honor. Defendants claimed Emily should sacrifice for Tyler because Tyler had been there for her. The hospital records show Tyler never visited her once. Robert Carter visited twice in 4 months. Diana never came. Yet they took $195,000 of her medical settlement and called it family. Then Jessica looked at the judge. Your Honor. I call Emily Carter. I walked to the witness stand. No crutches today. Jessica had asked me to try. Show them you are strong enough to stand. 15 steps. My hip screamed. But I made it. The clerk raised the Bible. Do you swear to tell the truth? The whole truth. And nothing but the truth. I do. I looked out at the courtroom. Megan was crying. Aunt Linda mouthed. You can do this. I always could. Jessica approached. Softer now. This was no longer theater. It was truth. Emily. In your own words? What happened after the accident? I took a breath and told them everything. The accident did not take away my ability to walk. My family almost did. They took the money I needed to heal and called it an investment. They took my trust and called it power of attorney. They took my voice and tried to call it mental illness. My eyes found my father. He was crying quietly. My father used to tell me blood does not betray blood. But he was wrong. Blood can betray when money gets between it. I turned to Judge Spencer. I was not a person to them. I was convenient. A source of money they could access when I was too weak to fight back. When I needed surgery. When I begged for my own settlement. They told me I should share. But sharing requires 2 people giving loudly. They only knew how to take. My voice did not shake. It was steady. Clear. They said family helps each other. But family does not help itself with someone else's future. Family is supposed to protect you when you cannot protect yourself. My father had one job, keep my settlement safe until I could walk again. Instead, he sold my recovery for his wife's approval. I looked at Diana. You told me family is who shows up. You were right. Megan showed up. Jessica showed up. Margaret showed up. My coworkers showed up. People with no legal obligation to me showed up again and again. Do you know how many times you showed up at the hospital? 0? But you showed up very quickly when there was $230,000 available for your son. Tyler looked down at his hands. That $195,000 was not just money. It was physical therapy I could not pay for. It was surgery that could have happened sooner. It was safety. It was my future. You traded it for a gaming startup and a Tesla? I turned back to the judge. I learned something through all of this. Your Honor, boundaries are not betrayal. Boundaries are how you protect yourself from people who see you as an ATM instead of a daughter. I learned that chosen family can matter more than blood. Because blood shares DNA. But chosen family shares the burden. I looked at my father one last time. Dad, if you are listening, you did not lose your daughter today. You lost me on February 14. The day you chose Diana's threat over my surgery. The day you signed away my future. My voice finally cracked. I waited my whole life to be your priority. 5 years behind Tyler. Behind Diana. Behind everyone. I thought if I was patient enough, understanding enough, easy enough, you would finally choose me. But you chose yourself. Your comfort over my pain. Your marriage over my recovery. I wiped my eyes. So this is my boundary. I choose me. I choose my health. I choose the people who actually show up. And I am done waiting for you to become the father you promised to be. The courtroom was silent. Judge Spencer wrote notes quickly. Fiercely, Jessica said, "Thank you, Emily." No further questions. Wallace stood for cross-examination. "Ms. Carter, is it true you have a history of conflict with your stepmother counsel?" Judge Spencer said, her voice like a blade. "Sit down. I have heard enough." Wallace blinked. "Your Honor, I have not presented. You do not have a case. Sit down." He sat. Judge Spencer removed her glasses and looked at my father. "Mr. Carter, stand." My father stood, shaking. "Do you understand that you violated your fiduciary duty to your daughter's silence?" "Answer the question." "Yes." "Your Honor, do you understand that you allowed your wife to influence you into taking medical funds from your daughter while she was medically vulnerable?" His voice broke. "Yes." "Do you have any defense for your conduct?" He looked at me. Opened his mouth. Closed it. "No." "Your Honor." Judge Spencer put her glasses back on. "The court finds in favor of the plaintiff. Robert Carter and Diana Foster are ordered to repay $195,000 plus 6% interest, totaling $206,700, within 30 days. Defendants will also cover plaintiff's attorney's fees, estimated at $25,000. She was not done. Furthermore, the court orders an immediate freeze on Tyler Foster's assets until restitution is satisfied. The court finds that Mr. Pravos, Foster knowingly benefited from misappropriated funds and may be jointly responsible for repayment. The gavel fell. Robert Carter's power of attorney over Emily Carter is permanently revoked. He is prohibited from managing another person's finances without court permission. This matter will be referred to the appropriate state authorities for investigation of financial exploitation. Another strike of the gavel. Court is adjourned. The room erupted. Megan hugged me and cried. Jessica shook my hand. Professional but bright-eyed. Across the aisle, Diana screamed at my father. Actually screamed. "You idiot. You let her. You did not even fight." My father just sat there. Broken. Tyler was on the phone, probably calling someone about the asset freeze. Aunt Linda pushed through the crowd and hugged me. "I am sorry. Emily, I did not know. I did not see. But I see now." Margaret Stone stood near the door, composed as ever, and gave me a small wink. "Well done, Emily." Outside the courthouse, a Phoenix Tribune reporter approached. "Ms. Carter, may I get a statement?" Jessica started to wave him away. But I stopped her. "Yes, I have a statement." I looked straight into the camera. "If someone in your family is stealing from you, financially, emotionally, or in any other way, it is not betrayal to set a boundary. It is survival. Blood does not give anyone the right to exploit you. And walking away from toxic family is not giving up. It is choosing yourself." The reporter nodded. "This will run tomorrow." That night, Megan, Jessica, and I ate pizza. Jessica's phone buzzed. She checked it and laughed. Tyler's attorney just filed a motion to reconsider the asset freeze. Judge Spencer denied it in writing. "What did she say?" Megan asked. Jessica read it aloud. "Mr. Foster may revisit the matter after returning the Tesla purchased with misappropriated medical funds." We laughed. God. We laughed. For the first time in 6 months, I felt light. Not because the money solved everything, though it would save my leg, but because I had told the truth in public and been heard. The asset freeze hit Tyler within hours. Bank accounts frozen. Tesla seized under court order pending restitution. Game launch studios collapsed. By April 22, his co-founders had sued him for misusing investor funds. Because apparently promising capital to a startup and then spending it on a car for yourself is, shockingly, illegal. Megan sent me a screenshot from Reddit, where someone had posted the Tribune article. It had tens of thousands of upvotes and thousands of comments. This happened to me. My uncle took my college fund. My stepmom said I was not really hers too. The Tesla, while claiming he could not return the money, cartoon villain behavior. My story spread. Not as entertainment, but because it was everyone's story, every scapegoat told to share, every golden child funded by someone else's sacrifice, every person called selfish for wanting back what was stolen. Tyler texted me at 2 a.m. from a number I did not recognize. Emily, please. I am sorry. I did not know it would go this far. Can we talk? I will do anything. Just drop the case. I will pay it back slowly. I swear. I read it and showed Jessica. What do you want to do? She asked. I typed one message. You had 3 months to do the right thing. You bought a Tesla. Now you know what it feels like to have your future taken from you. Then I blocked him. Diana filed for divorce on June 2, citing irreconcilable differences. She demanded half the marital assets. Arizona is a community property state, so she got her share. My father had to sell the house for $420,000. After the mortgage and the split with Diana, he received roughly $210,000, which went straight to me, plus legal fees. By the end, he was in debt. Diana took her half and moved to California. She remarried within 4 months to a real estate developer wealthier than Robert. Then deleted me from every social media platform and blocked my number. I felt nothing. Not satisfaction. Not revenge. Just the quiet sound of the universe correcting itself. My father called 12 times in 2 weeks. I never answered. He left voicemails, each one more desperate than the last. Emily, please. I know I was wrong. I lost everything. The house. My marriage. My reputation. I lost you. Please. Sweetheart, I am your father. I made a mistake. I was afraid. Diana threatened to leave, and I panicked. I chose wrong. You were right about everything. I was weak. I let her control me. But I am still your father. Does that mean nothing? The 12th message said. I have nothing left. No wife. No house. No savings. Just this apartment and regret. I do not expect forgiveness. I just want you to know I am sorry. I am sorry to the bottom of my soul. I listened to that last message 3 times. Then I deleted all of them. Megan asked, You do not want to respond, even just to yell at him, no. I said, He does not get any more of my words. Not my time. Not me. That is cold. No. That is a boundary. There is a difference. On June 15, I sent one email with the subject line, Final Contact. Dad, you did not lose your daughter today. You lost me on February 14, when you chose Diana's ultimatum over my surgery, when you signed away my future in exchange for your own comfort. I do not hate you. Hate requires energy I need for healing. But I choose myself now. I choose recovery. I choose the people who showed up without legal obligation. Boundaries are not betrayal. Boundaries are self-love. This is mine. Do not contact me again. Emily. I sent it. Blocked his email. Blocked his number. And closed that chapter. Tyler eventually ended up washing dishes at a Denny's on McDowell Road. His Instagram went private. His bio changed from CEO of Game Launch Studios to nothing at all. Someone from the clinic saw him there and said he looked exhausted. Older. I felt a flicker of something. Not sympathy exactly. Just acknowledgement. Consequences had finally met choices. Good. I said. And I meant it. Community fallout came quickly. My father's church stopped inviting him to leadership events. He had been a deacon. They asked him to step down. Diana's friends, the ones who attended the intervention, posted vague quotes about financial abuse. But none of them mentioned that they had helped gaslight me toward psychiatric observation. Margaret Stone sent a card that said, "Justice is not always loud. Sometimes it is quiet and complete. Proud of you." Aunt Linda visited every week with food and helped me through physical therapy. I should have said something at that intervention. She told me one afternoon. I knew it was wrong, but I was afraid of causing family trouble. "You are here now," I said. "That matters." She squeezed my hand. Family is not just blood. It is who stays. I am staying. Apri l'obsprezece. 7 a.m. surgery day. Doctor. Mitchell walked me through the pre-op plan himself. "We are going to fix it." Emily. 6 hours. Maybe 7. When you wake up, you begin getting your life back. Megan held my hand until they wheeled me into the operating room. "See you on the other side," she said. Jessica sent flowers to my hospital room. The card read, "Get the leg back. Then get the life back." I woke in recovery at 3 p.m. Grogdu. Confused. In pain. But doctor. Mitchell was there. "We did it," he said. "We saved the femoral head. 6 more months of physical therapy." Emily. "But you will walk. You will run. You might even dance if you feel like it." I cried. Not from pain. But relief? Megan was there when they moved me to a regular room. She had waited 7 hours. "Your father called the hospital," she said carefully. "He wanted updates. I told them information only goes to people on your approved contact list." "Thank you. M. I have to tell you something. And you are allowed to be mad." I raised an eyebrow. I started a GoFundMe for post-op expenses, physical therapy, medication, home care. I set the goal at $30,000. Megan. It is at 43,000. 680 donors. Mostly strangers who read the Tribune article. Some are your patients. Some are people who went through the same thing. She showed me the comments. "My dad did this to me too. $500 for your recovery. Stepmothers like Diana gave me PTSD. $200. You inspired me to set a boundary. Thank you. $1,000. I could not speak. Chosen family." Megan said softly. "Bigger than you thought. I hired Carol Peterson as a caregiver, 50 years old. Certified. Kind. No nonsense. She had known my mother, who died when I was 12. Your mama would be proud of you." Carol said one day while helping me through exercises, standing up to Robert. Setting boundaries. Your mother tried to teach that man accountability. He never learned. You knew my parents, sweetheart. I was your mother's best friend. I watched Robert change after he married Diana. I watched him stop showing up for you. It broke my heart. But you? She smiled. You have your mother's backbone. For 8 weeks. Carol was there. Cooking. Cleaning. Driving me to appointments. Becoming family by action instead of title. Physical therapy was brutal. 3 days a week. 2 hours at a time. My therapist, Marcus, was relentless. 10 more steps. Emily, you can do it. I hate you. You will thank me when you run. He was right. By August. I walked without crutches. By September. I walked without a limp. By October. I jogged slowly. Painfully. But I jogged. November 10. 6 months after surgery, I walked back into Desert Wellness Clinic for my first day of work. Part-time. 4 hours a day. But back. My coworkers decorated my treatment room with balloons. A welcome back, Emily banner. Cake. And Lily was there. The little girl I had promised would run again. The patient I treated before the accident. She was 5 now. Fully recovered, she ran to me and hugged my leg. Ms. Emily. You're walking. Just like me. We jogged 1 lap around the clinic together. She laughed. I cried happy tears. This was why I fought. Not for revenge. For this? To keep a promise. On December 8, my physical therapist cleared me for unrestricted activity. No more limits. Emily, you are at 100%. I walked out of the appointment, stood in the parking lot, and simply breathed. 8 months earlier, I thought I might lose my leg. Now I was whole. Not because of my father, not because of the settlement alone, because I fought for myself, because Megan fought with me, because Jessica believed in justice, because Margaret risked her career, because Carol showed up, because chosen family is stronger than blood when blood becomes a weapon. I moved into my own apartment. A 1-bedroom near the clinic with a view of the mountains. The first night, I cooked dinner. Simple pasta. And invited Megan and Jessica. We sat on the floor because I did not have furniture yet. Eating off paper plates. Jessica raised a plastic cup of wine. To Emily, who stood up when they tried to push her down. Megan raised hers. To boundaries, I lifted mine. To chosen family. To standing up. To surviving people who thought you were too broken to fight. We tapped cups. And I felt it. The thing I had been chasing for months. Peace. In May 2026. I ran the Phoenix Strong 5K. A charity race, supporting accident survivors. My time was 32 minutes and 18 seconds. Not fast. But I finished. Megan ran beside me across the finish line. The announcer called my name Emily Carter. Survivor. Physical therapist. And founder of the Emily Carter Foundation. The crowd clapped and cheered. The foundation carried my name. But its mission belonged to everyone like me, legal aid and financial advocacy for accident victims facing family financial abuse. We partnered with Jessica's office. 3 cases accepted, 2 won. 1 pending. We were small, but we were helping. In April 2020, Shishase. A handwritten letter arrived. Robert Carter. Return address on the envelope. I held it for 5 minutes. Megan was having coffee with me. You are not curious? She asked. No. Closure does not come from the people who hurt you. It comes from moving forward. I placed the letter in a drawer labeled past and closed it. I kept one family connection, Aunt Linda. Monthly lunches. She gave updates without me asking for them. Robert is doing a little better. Small financial consulting clients. Therapy. He asks about you. I nodded. Diana is in California. Divorced the real estate developer. Married again. Some tech investor. I sipped my coffee. Tyler went back to school. Community college. Business degree. He is doing okay. Good for him. Aunt Linda looked at me. You do not want to know more. I had compassion for their struggles. But compassion and reconciliation are not the same thing. I can wish them well from a distance. That sounds mature. Aunt Linda said. No. I replied, that is self-protection. I started therapy after the trial and spent 18 months with Dr. C's. Elena Park. Our final session was in March 2026. You have processed the trauma. Emily, she said, you are not just surviving anymore. You are living. What is the difference? A survivor reacts to the past. A living person creates the future. You are creating. She was right. I am not defined by what they did to me. I am defined by what I did next. So here is where I am now, May 2026. On the balcony of my apartment at sunrise, coffee in one hand, journal in the other. I write, this was never just a story about money. It was a story about worth. Worth is not what your family assigns to you. Worth is what you claim for yourself. My father did not take away my ability to stand. He showed me who was worth standing beside. Boundaries are not betrayal. Boundaries are love. Love for yourself. Protection for your future. Refusal to be treated as convenient instead of cherished. They thought I was weak because I needed crutches. But strength was never in my legs. It was in my spine, in my voice, in my refusal to be gaslit into silence. I learned that family who shows up matters more than family you are born into. Blood is an accident of birth. Chosen family is a decision of the heart. And I chose well. I close the journal and look out at the mountains. Pink and gold under the morning sun. I am 33 years old. Healthy. Working full-time. Building a nonprofit. Surrounded by people who love me because they choose to. Not because they have to. My father did not take away my ability to stand. He taught me who deserved to stand beside me. And the answer was myself. First and always. Myself. If this story hit you somewhere deep, if you have ever had to choose between keeping peace and keeping yourself, share it. Someone in your life may need permission to set a boundary. Someone may need to hear this. You are not selfish for protecting yourself. You are not cruel for walking away from people who exploit you. You are not betraying family by choosing survival. Boundaries are not betrayal. They are the clearest form of self-love. Thank you for staying with me through this story. If you learned anything from it, tell me in the comments. What boundary do you need to set? What family pattern do you need to break? Let's talk about it. Because you deserve to stand up. Even if you have to do it alone. Especially then, recovery taught me that vulnerability should never be treated as permission. A hospital bed does not erase a person's ownership of their own future. Pain medication, fear, and dependence do not turn medical money into family money. When someone is trusted with power of attorney, they are not being handed a blank check. They are being handed a duty to protect the person who cannot yet protect themselves. I also learned that the most dangerous theft is not always the one done in secret. Sometimes it happens in plain sight, wrapped in words like family, sacrifice, and opportunity. But a settlement for a broken body belongs first to the body that was broken. Before anyone talks about sharing, investing, or helping someone else chase a dream, the injured person must be made whole. That is not selfishness. That is justice with a pulse. Scriptwriter Nguyen Van Chien.